Sir?
Yo.
Sir Sito?
Oh,
Test lang po natin si Miss Eden Pineda, sir. Pasok ko po siya.
okay. Okay, good morning. Let's test Miss Eden Pineda. Good morning, Eden.
Morning. Morning.
Kamusta? Pasensya na kayo, na-istorbo namin kayo, ha?
Okay lang all the time.
Okay. Later I'll be asking you tungkol doon sa mga sinabi ni spokesperson Roque that in many cases parang ang magdi-decide na barangay captains, and then also may sinabi si Yusek Jonathan Malaya naman that given such immense responsibilities, the barangay those who want to be barangay captains must have more qualifications than currently required by law. So parang gusto nilang taasan yung caliber ng mga barangay captain and barangay officials. So yung mga ganong question, Eden, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So at least mapagandaan mo na rin. But you look good, you sound good.
Okay.
So, okay. Thank you, Eden. We'll get back to you.
Okay.
Okay, Gab, may slight delay pero okay naman. Maganda yung registry ni Miss Eden.
Copy, sir. Sir, standby 2 minutes to air.
Okay. Aga. Good morning. Good morning, Philippines. This is Cito Beltran, and you are watching the program Agenda on Signal TV, channels 8 and 250, and on the Facebook platform live stream of One News PH. Today is Wednesday, May 13, 2020, and we continue carrying the news for you. And today we will also have a lot of interviews, among them Mayor EDGARDO Labella of Cebu City, Mayor JORIC GACULA of Taytay Municipality, former Senator J.V. EJERCITO, the president of the League of Barangays, Miss Eden Pineda, and doing a return bout with us because of yesterday's very short interview. We will also have Congresswoman Stella Kimbo for clarifications or to further explain the economic stimulus package that they were suggesting from the minority group in Congress. Okay, let's get ahead with the headlines. And here goes from the front page of the Philippine Star. New quarantine protocols in place. There are also new rules on the national government's social amelioration program. Only enhanced community quarantine areas will be provided with financial assistance. I repeat, only ECQ areas will be given the second tranche of social amelioration program. This means families who will receive cash aid are the first tranche beneficiaries in Metro Manila, Cebu City, and Laguna, the only remaining areas under modified ECQ. Under new rules, the Social Welfare Department will now lead the distribution, replacing the local government units or LGUs. In this setup, the SWD will tap the services of the Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP and the Department of National Defense. Experts from the University of the Philippines have discovered alarming errors in COVID-19 patients' data. The UP COVID-19 Pandemic Response Team has been working with the Department of Health in data reporting to make policy recommendations. But in the process, the team found out inconsistencies and mismatches in the data. The team said they have yet to reconcile differences between DOH data and LGU data since the first COVID case was reported in the country last February. Among the errors were 45 patients had their sex changed from male to female or vice versa. We're talking about entries in the data, not physically. 75 others had their age modified, while over 500 had changes in residential addresses. DOH has yet to make a statement on the matter. The National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, has filed charges against the public school teacher who offered a 50 million peso reward to anyone who would kill President Duterte on social media. The teacher, identified as Ronel Mas from Zambales, is facing charges of inciting to sedition related to Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012 and violation of the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards among public officials. Mas, who says he has been receiving threats himself, has since apologized for his actions. With the restrictions in transportation, cycling enthusiasts, including former COMELEC Commissioner Goyo Larrazabal, are pushing for the promotion of cycling culture in the country. In fact, Senator Pia Cayetano has also filed Senate Bill 1518, or the Safe Pathways Act. This bill aims to create a network of pop-up bicycle lanes and emergency pathways for the Filipinos, all the while observing physical distancing. Okay, those are the headlines, and we do hope that thing on cycling will be picked up by many LGUs, and including the DPWH, and we will try our best to get all the proponents of cycling in the Philippines to come on the program and help us promote the idea and how to improve it. Okay, let's move on to our interviews for the day, and let me just check if we already have Mayor EDGARDO LABELLA of Cebu City, because there are... Okay, there we go. Mayor LABELLA, good morning sa imo, sir.
Good morning, Zito. Good morning to your televiewers and, of course, to your audience.
Okay,
in the social media.
I won't burden you so much today. I hope that you are physically fine and you are healthy and the stress hasn't gotten to you. But I know that Cebu is not having an easy time with this COVID-19. May mga sinasabi sila that Cebu City may have uh, outranked Quezon City already in the number of cases. How true is that, Mayor?
That is correct, Sito, because, since at the very beginning, it is really our opinion that to effectively fight this coronavirus is to have a massive test, and then, of course, contact tracing. That's precisely the reason why maybe among the local government units in the entire country, we have tested more than 10,376 individuals already. I think we have the highest number of people tested.
Mhm.
And I think it is for this reason that there is really an increase in the number of people found to be positive. But one thing good is that even if we have about 1,000, as of yesterday, 1,660, that's about 10% of the 10,000 that we have tested, and 96% of these are asymptomatic. And
Okay.
because they are asymptomatic, we place them, a great majority of them, because under the protocol of the Department of Health, if a person is found to be positive but asymptomatic, they can be placed on home quarantine. But we never take it for granted. We have placed them, a great majority of them, in what we call as barangay isolation centers. We have about 33 barangay isolation centers. These are schools which were converted into barangay isolation centers. By the way, about 300 of these are detention prisoners in the city jail, and they are also
Okay.
placed in another facility where they are taken care of, treated, and separated from the rest. So, but because of this, while we have 1,660, we have not, shall we say, swarmed our hospitals, our quarantine centers, because if they are considered as asymptomatic, we just place them in barangay isolation centers. We have also what we call as our quarantine centers. One is in the North Reclamation area, and the other one is at the Sacred Heart School, where we can accommodate almost 1,200, 250, and another 520 international. And these are for the what we call as that's the picture, for those who are mild, moderate. Fortunately, we are at this point, we only have about 5 patients at this mild, moderate quarantine facility. And of course, for the more serious and severe cases, we have hospitals. And I'm also glad to inform you that our hospitals are ready. In fact, Vicente Soto Memorial Hospital, it has still an allowance of 60% of just in case would-be patients. So we are prepared for this.
Okay,
and of course,
Yeah.
and the other thing is that in the entire country, I think Cebu City has the lowest mortality rate. We have only about 0.054% mortality rate.
Okay, so we shouldn't really get alarmed with the numbers, because the numbers are telling us that you are doing a lot of testing, you are doing a lot of contact tracing, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have an outbreak. Kumbaga,
Exactly.
na-discover nyo lang na kadamo ang infected sa inyong lugar, ano? Now, yes, sir.
Because for us, the most important component of fighting this virus is testing. Test, and test.
Okay, now
Trace,
yeah,
yes.
but here's the question, Mayor, because yesterday Malacanang already, the spokesperson declared that Cebu is part of or Cebu City ata is part of the MECQ, where certain businesses will be allowed to open and certain number of workers will be allowed to go back to work. How does this affect you?
Well, with due respect, Zito, with that pronouncement, we are asking for a reconsideration that maybe we should, at this point in time, stick first to enhanced community quarantine. And as what we have heard, the guideline the only guideline that we heard about modified is that we can have a operate a manufacturing business with about 50% of the
Yes.
workforce.
Mhm.
I think this is the only guideline that we have heard. So, considering that we are still in the process of continuing a strategic and calibrated testing of at least 10% of our population, would rather that we would stick at this point to enhanced community quarantine. And we
Okay,
are asking for a reconsideration of this.
Okay, I don't mean to stir up trouble o mang intriga, but I'm just curious, and I think it's a valid question to ask. Were you consulted on what state or status you would want for Cebu City? Because Cebu City is a big, very big city, second to Metro Manila, and one would imagine bago gumawa ng patakaran before they make any pronouncements that they would have asked Mayor Labella.
Well, maybe the government has its considerations in putting us under modified ACQ.
But were you asked in particular? Were you
Actually maybe they have their own considerations. That's why precisely the reason why we are now seeking a reconsideration to the regional office of the interagency task force.
Yeah. Well, I respect you being diplomatic, Mayor, but I think many of us would expect that there should be consultation on the ground before such major policies are announced by Malacanang. In any case, going back to the issue of pronouncements and decisions, there seems to be a tendency now to pass the responsibility and decision making to the local governments. Now, in Cebu City, you are the father of the city, the head, the chief executive, and now there's like this direction where your barangay captains will be given more decision making powers. What is your sense of that idea? Because not all barangays have great leadership. May mga barangays na far-flung. What is the situation in Cebu? Kaya na ba? Can the barangay captains make such important decisions?
Exactly. One thing good is that we make the reconsultations. We have our crisis committee in constant touch with our barangay officials. That's why whatever decision, like important decisions like lockdowns in certain areas, certain barangays where there are positive patients, there are consultations. And one thing good is that we have good communication and rapport with our barangay officials.
Okay, what is the status as far as containing the spread? Because about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, there was news that a certain barangay, in fact, naging issue pa nga yata because someone said it had become the epicenter of COVID-19, etc. Na politika pa. But what is the status in terms of containing the spread? Okay, you are doing a lot of testing, you're doing a lot of contact tracing, your hospitals are only 40% being capacity. Now, what about the spread? Ano yung containment procedures ninyo dyan?
Well, exactly. As I've said, because we have a very massive swab testing, we were able to test 10,376. And to those found positive, they were all, especially those found positive asymptomatic, they were placed in barangay isolation centers.
Yeah, but what about mga returning Cebuanos, OFWs, and people, in because Cebu City is the city, but you still have the province. May nakakapasok ba? Are you allowed?
Yes. As a matter of fact, about 4 days ago, there were about 30 returning residents, OFWs, that were allowed to enter after they were quarantined for 14 days. And of course, when they got here, again, they were quarantined and they were again tested. And those found to be really negative and have no problem, they are allowed to come in already. Because we should not also discriminate our OFWs. They've done a lot of contribution to our country, to our people. So they are all accepted for as long as the protocols provided for under the Department of Health, like quarantine, testing, were complied with, and they are here with us.
Okay, I regularly visit Cebu, and I've seen how prosperous your city is. You are in the Visayas, almost like the center for shipping. A lot of flights go in and out Cebu, both local, both domestic and international. Now everything's shut down, and how does this affect Cebu and your leadership? Di ka ba natatakot? Are you worried about the future, or you think you guys can make it through this?
We have, we believe that we will succeed, and of course, Cebu being the center of trade, especially coastwise trade. Although we have restrictions on passenger vessels, the cargoes are still being allowed to pass through, enter Cebu, and send cargoes outside of Cebu, because a great majority of the products that come to Cebu, agricultural products, come from northern Mindanao. Coastwise trade is still very much active, and except for passengers. Well, of course, certain cases like passengers that would require medical treatment, that would require some very important considerations, they are allowed to enter on exceptional basis. But insofar as our being able to cope with this problem now, I think we have enough resources in the city. As a matter of fact, at the very outset, we have provided substantial help to our people in the barangays, and until now we are continuously doing that for as long as this problem is still very much around.
You mentioned earlier in this interview that you are appealing to Malacanang to reconsider the classification of Cebu City back to ECQ. If that were granted, how long would you want to impose ECQ? And how tough is ECQ going to be? Kasi dito sa Metro Manila, almost all the cities and barangays this week were really extra tough because so many wanted to go to GCQ, wanted to have a new ranking, pero mukhang fail pa rin. How about in Cebu?
Yes, for that purpose, we are continuously coordinating with our city health officials, the Department of Health, and of course, because we have a scheme here in Cebu, wherein three of the adjacent local government units, Mandawi City, Lapu-Lapu City, have this what we call a strategic and calibrated testing of at least 10% of our projected population. And we just started this last May 6, and we are asking for 15 days on this to find out if it is really ideal to relax some businesses, because Cebu City, a business and trade center, Mandawi City is a manufacturing center, and of course Lapu-Lapu City, we are adjacent to one another. So as they say, about 80% of the economy in Cebu, the entire island, come from these three neighboring provinces. That's why we are coordinating together with our respective chambers of commerce for a more calibrated and strategic testing of our population, together in collaboration with our chambers of commerce.
Do you guys, and I don't expect you to have an answer for this because I think even the experts don't have an answer here in Metro Manila, but do you guys have a particular number, goal, finish line where you will say, okay, if we only have 6%, we
10% of the projected population.
Ilan, sir?
10% of the projected
10% to be tested.
Yes.
Yeah, but based on, let's say you got 10% of the population tested, how many percent would be pass or fail?
Well, that would depend now on the outcome of the strategic and calibrated testing.
Okay, well, in any case, I do hope that not that many people in Cebu have contracted the disease, and we sincerely pray that everything works out well for you guys. And I'm sure everything will work out under your leadership. You're doing quite a good job, Mayor. Now, is there any request, any other thing you would like to issue or say to our audience or to the national government?
Well, of course, I would say that insofar as Cebu City is concerned, we are really trying our best to fight this pandemic. Of course, as we've said, the best component of fighting this pandemic is massive testing. And we have actually done that. I think so far as all the other local government units in the country, we have the most number of people being tested, 10,376. Much higher than the other local governments, because we believe that testing is the most important component, contact tracing. And while we shall have achieved this, we will see to it that they'll be treated and on their way to recovery, so that we can really conquer this very serious pandemic. And of course, ask our people to always stay home, always maintain and observe hygiene and sanitation, and most importantly, not to fail to ask the help of the divine providence. Ask for God's intervention.
That is the best thing I have heard this morning, reminding all of us to pray to God. And we thank you, Mayor Labella, and please stay strong, stay safe, and stay healthy. God bless you, sir.
God bless you too, sir.
Okay, that's Cebu City Mayor Labella, and now we will go for a quick break. And when we come back, we will move to the municipality of Taytay and find out what's the situation there, because in one news feature, there were quite a lot of people lining up for social amelioration funds, and some people were saying that social distancing had to be abandoned. We'll find out from the mayor of Taytay himself when we come back here on Agenda. Okay, you're back here on Agenda. You're back on Agenda, and the next guest that we have is the mayor of the. I think it is a municipality. I don't think it's a city, but we'll ask the good mayor to correct us if I'm wrong. Mayor JORIC, GACULA of Taytay, Rizal. Mayor, magandang umaga.
Magandang umaga po, Mr. Cito Beltran.
I'm
I'm a
glad.
fan of yours.
Ay, thank you. I'm glad to see that you look healthy. Medyo ninervyos kami. We were a bit worried when it was reported in the news that the mayor of Taytay had contracted COVID-19. Kamusta na? How are you?
Well, yun, after a long quarantine and after getting 2 negative results, ay masigla na po at muling nakabalik na sa labas. Pero even though tayo naka-quarantine, I was calling the shots pa rin sa ating municipality of Taytay at yun nga, nagpapasalamat kami sa Panginoon na naka-survive kami. Hindi lang ako ang victim, even our municipal health officer, the guy in charge of the health situation was also infected by COVID-19.
Okay, just for the benefit of our viewers, what was the experience like? Kasi sinasabi nila, oh, mild lang naman yung umabot kay Mayor JORIC, but alam nyo, yung masabihan ka lang na positive ka, parang kumulo na raw nagdilim na yung mundo. Can you please share with us what your experience was like when you realized that maybe you had COVID-19?
Yes, Sito, syempre, unang-una na I had to show a strong front dahil yung aking obligasyon as the chief executive. Pero alam mo, di ko alam kung masasabi nakatulong dahil yung at that time or even until now, delayed yung mga result ng ng RITM. So when I felt bad and my doctor advised me to do self-quarantine, wala pa akong result if positive or negative. So I had fever and then I had asthma. So nung medyo naka-recover na ako nung sa fever, wala na akong fever. After 7 or 8 days, saka lumabas yung yung result na positive ako. So malaking tulong yun dahil wala na akong fever. Ini-imagine ko kasi kung may sakit pa ako pagkatapos masama yung pakiramdam ko and then I received the news na positive ako, baka mas lalong drastic, no? But even though, ang naging karanasan ko, pag nasabihan ka na ng positive, kahit anong maramdaman mo, pumapasok na yung anxiety, paminsan and since I'm quarantined alone, hindi ko kasama ang family ko, nasa isang lugar lang ako, yung nagkaka-panic attack din ako in the middle of the night dahil nababasa ko yung mga news na marami tayong kababayan at mga frontliners na pumanaw na. So, kahit konting maramdaman mo lang, headache, sakit ng katawan, parang ina-attribute mo na agad na nag-worsen ang situation mo, no? And then the other big blow was after I got another test, naging positive na naman yung second test ko. Although talagang wala na akong nararamdaman na masama and I was already doing some treadmill exercises, pero ganun pa rin, yung the mere fact na positive ka, hindi ka talaga mapapakali at kahit anong maramdaman mo, maramdaman mo lang na mainit ka, you'll take your temperature, inom ka ng mga liquid o basta tawag ka ng tawag sa mga doktor dahil ang hirap, wala namang uma-attend sa'yo. Ang gamit lang namin sa mga doktor ko teleconferencing lang, itong ganitong medium. So, napakahirap talaga and yun nga, kailangan pakita mo rin na malakas ka dahil baka panghinaan ng loob din yung mga kasamahan mo, mga kababayan mo.
Nabigyan ka ba? Meron bang binigay na mga gamot sa'yo? Kasi may mga alam akong kaso na bahala ng Diyos, bibigay ko sa'yo itong gamot na ito. Kailangan uminom ka ng gamot. Were there any efforts to medicate you?
Yes, maraming tayong mga kaibigan na nag-advise sa akin na yun nga, mag-try ng hydrochloroquine. They gave me medicines, mga kaibigan na doktor. Mga kaibigan din from our Filipino-Chinese chambers gave me some traditional Chinese medicine drugs. Pero syempre yung aking talagang family doctor, he advised me not to try this kasi wala naman daw ako sa ospital. And lalo yung hydrochloroquine, if you have hypertension or naka-maintenance ka, dapat daw dyan is under careful monitoring by a cardiologist. So, sabi niya sa akin, total, wala ka ng lagnat at asthma na lang yan dahil namang asthma lahi namin. So, sabi niya, ano na lang, continue na lang. So, my doctor gave me yung Azithromax. And we gave me 2 antibiotics, and after that, nawala na yung fever ko, and then yung asthma na lang yung nagstay until such time na I got the first negative. Yun, I was feeling normal na. And ayun nga, nabiktima rin ako dun sa, di ba, there's a time that our ITM frontliners were affected by COVID, mga 40 yan. So
Yeah.
my result was delayed for 14 days. Labas na ako dahil alam mo naman dito sa aming bayan, if you're an LGU official, ang tao ay hindi pwedeng nasa video ka lang, Facebook. Ang gusto nila ikaw mismo yung on the ground at nasa initan ka at nag-aabot ka ng kung ano man mga relief goods. So ikaw mismo ang yung hinahanap talaga yung presence mo. So yun ang naging dilemma ko na almost 25 days din ako na quarantine.
Okay, so good. We thank God. May naka-recover ka. Mukhang ayos na ang forma mo, Mayor. Pero ang katanungan, kung yung Mayor tinamaan, kung yung Municipal Health Officer tinamaan, what about the people of Taytay? Gaano ba kaseryoso ang COVID-19 infections sa munisipyo ng Taytay? You are a municipality, no? Hindi pa ho kayo syudad.
Yes, we are a municipality. Sito, we are the second most populated municipality in the Philippines. Halos tay kami ng bayan ng Cainta, no? So, ayun nga, siguro yung nangyari sa amin ay naging isang eye-opener also for my constituents na lahat pala tinatamaan, hindi pala imposible na So, I think that was one of the major factors na parang marami rin na nag-ingat at nalaman nila na ayun nga, walang everybody's vulnerable dito sa COVID dahil may mayaman, may mahirap, merong nasa government, may wala. So, yan siguro naging susi din, and the same time nung ako may sakit nga, sinasabi ko din sa mga tao na yung advice ko para hindi na sila mahawa, because I believe I got my COVID because of my style in governing. I'm a person who usually talks to 300 to 400 people a day. And every day for me is a People's Day. My house is open, and I work also on weekends. I copied this style from our Governor Inares, who incidentally was also infected by COVID-19. So ang style namin talaga direkta sa
Sandali,
tao.
Mayor. Pagpasensya mo, kaibigan ko kasi yung mga pamilyang Inares, kanya lang, litong-lito na ako. Sino ba ang governor ngayon? Yung tatay, yung nanay, o yung anak?
Yung nanay po, yung tita ko, si Governor Nini Inares.
Okay.
Napakasipag po niyan. Yan ay humaharap sa tao at pumupunta sa maliliit na imbitasyon. Lahat pinupuntahan.
Pati ba siya nadali rin ng COVID-19?
Yes, opo. Isa siya sa mga governor na nagpahayag. She disclosed that siya ay naapektuhan.
I remember na nilockdown nila ang province of Rizal. Damay na rin kayo doon. How tough or how strict are you in the implementation of ECQ in the municipality of Taytay?
Well, dito sa amin na municipality, we are a melting pot. Namin ditong informal settlers. We have 45,000 informal settler families, more or less. So, talagang mahirap. Although our chief of police was very strict, ganun din, pag nakakalingat, lalabas pa rin ng tao. That's the time that we decided to shut down all the sari-sari stores, even if they were selling essentials like vegetables and canned goods and rice. Talagang nagdesisyon na kami na wala munang sari-sari store for the last 15 days of the ECQ. So malaki na itulong dahil yung mga bata ay hindi na tumatakas para bumili ng candy. Yung mga tatay wala nang dahilan para mag-standby sa tindahan. So napigilan din, malaking naibaba doon sa pagbili ng illegal na inumin, mga droga, ganun, mga alak na illegal, And at the same time, yung droga, dahil paminsan diyan nag-aabutan sa mga tindahan, yung mga pusher at saka yung mga gumagamit niyan, nabawasan din dahil wala nang tambay, natanggal yung mga standby sa mga sari-sari store. So I think that contributed dun sa medyo kahit papano there was a halt in our infections dito sa Taytay.
Okay, I will fast track our interview at alam ko marami kayong ginagawa. Isang clarification lang po o paglilinaw kasi napabalita na medyo naging how do you call it? Medyo nagkaroon kayo ng distribution ng SAP diyan sa bayan. And what happened was sinabayan pa yata ng ulan or something, medyo nakalimutan na yung social distancing, etc. Ano bang sitwasyon at anong gagawin ninyo?
Well, ayun nga, alam niyo naman ang ating, it happened not only here in our municipality but also in the densely populated cities of the Philippines. Ang nangyari po dyan, yung na-declare na May 10 deadline, marami talaga dyan na yung nagbaka-sakali sila na kahit wala sila dun sa listahan ay yun, sumugod pa rin sa mga payout barangay centers at saka yung mga schools na payout center. So maraming tao na syempre gusto nila ay ang feeling nila napasama sila because they are poor, pero ayun nga hindi talaga hindi rin kaya ng ating 5 barangay, no. Our barangays are as big as municipalities also. Siguro kung magtataka ka, Sito, na we are a population of around 400,000 pero we have only 5 barangays. So napakahirap talaga niyan pag nagdagsaan yung tao. Pagkatapos nandiyan na rin yung fake news na basta pumunta ka lang diyan at patunayan mo na mahirap ka ay mabibigyan ka. So talagang nagkagulo-gulo na. But yesterday we had a meeting with our PNP and the PNP together with our DSWD met the 5 barangay captains. So today and until the 15th kami ay tatawag ng mga per sitio and purok. So ang gagawin namin hindi per barangay, per sitio ang tawag. So medyo na-estimate namin that we can serve around 800 to 1,000 a day. And we will be able to complete our payout by the 15th, hopefully.
Okay, well, we do hope that happens. Ngayon, anong plano ninyo? You've mentioned that you have about 45,000 informal settlers. And in fairness to Taytay, the people of Taytay, and to you, hindi naman mahirap na lugar ang Taytay. Favorite na puntahan niya ng misis ko dahil dyan ang textile capital ng Pilipinas. Pero kayo yung pinagbabagsakan. I hate to say it, okay? But presidents love to send the informal settlers, the mayors love to send informal settlers from their place at pinapadala din sa inyo at kasi malawak raw ang lupa ninyo. Are you planning to do something about this bad habit of other officials in Metro Manila sending you the people they don't want in their localities?
Well, ang ating pong governor has already ordered and they passed a sangguniang panglalawigan resolution na ang mga munisipyo po at syudad sa lalawigan ng Rizal will not accept any more informal settlers from other cities, no. Kaya lang po yung Taytay naunahan na during the time of President Ramos, all the informal settlers along the Pasig River was relocated to Taytay. So there are about 19,000 families residing in lupang arenda. And then during the time naman 1992 ay yung Manggahan floodway, around 25 or 30,000 families was resettled in Manggahan floodway. Kasama na rin diyan ang bayan ng Cainta at ang Pasig, no. So ayun nga, talagang medyo overwhelmed kami sa dami ng ating mga settlers. Pero
meron pa kayo mga nanggaling sa San Juan.
Yeah, yun po, yung panahon din ng mayor pa si President Erap ay yung kanyang mga informal settlers sa San Juan ay dinala rin dito sa Taytay. So ngayon po ay before the COVID crisis ay ang ating pong NHA ay nakipag-ugnayan na sa amin dahil we're planning to put up a parang housing and resettlement area na to decongest also these areas kung saan sila naglipatan magmula nung mga panahon pa ng mga dating pangulo.
Okay, and sa palagay ba ninyo mababago naman yan, Mayor? Because, okay, may problema ka na 400,000 ang population ng Taytay, 45,000 doon ay informal settler. Ngayon na naka-lockdown tayo or ewan ko ba, MECQ o ECQ, ano ba kayo? Kasi ang gusto ko na lang i-label sa lahat ng barbecue na eh. Parang tuhog-tuhog na tayong lahat eh.
Ay, nakakalito na rin, no? Pero sa ngayon po, nakikita ko naman na alam nyo yung Taytay kasi unique because itong panahon ng crisis ay yung aming industriya, yung aming garment industry ay kahit papaano hindi natulog, no? We are the main manufacturers and sources of PPEs and washable masks. So kahit papaano ay hindi naapektuhan yung aming bayan. Pero now, I was talking with our garment manufacturers dito sa ating bayan na gumawa na ng game plan kamukha sa pagbukas namin because our province belong to GCQ ay kung paano namin mabubuhay muli itong at mapapalawak yung aming garment industry na patuloy magsusupply ng mga damit at mga apparel for our frontliners. So yan ang aming meeting tomorrow. I will be meeting with the garment manufacturers. Kasi nga po, pag nabuhay namin yan, marami dun sa aming mga informal settlers ay na-convert na namin bilang mga mananahi o sowers. No? So yun nga, kaya medyo kahit sabihin mo na marami kaming informal settlers sa Taytay, ay marami naman silang ginagawa na mga garments. So it is a home and a cottage industry that is being assisted by the LGU and also by DTI. So ayun nga, ang amin is sa tingin ko kung mabuksan lang agad itong aming mga garments sa 16 when we assume the GCQ status, tingin ko makaunti-unti na makaka-take off agad yung bayan ng Taytay.
Abay, baka pwedeng pangunahan nyo na gumawa na lang ang Taytay. Kasi, excuse me, nakita ko ito sa New York City eh. Gumawa sila ng sarili nilang hand sanitizer. Nung nagkakaubusan, sabi ni Governor Cuomo, gumawa na tayo ng sarili nating hand sanitizer. Ngayon, naisip ko lang, because you are the garment or textile capital of Metro Manila, if not of the Philippines, and then you have a thriving industry, maybe you can put up factories that manufacture PPEs, masks, etc., para i-supply lahat yung national need kasi hindi naman bababa itong demand na ito. Ilang taon na mangangailangan tayo, and it would be nice for Taytay to be recognized as the PPE mask capital of the Philippines.
Yes, Sito, malaking we're already doing that no, as early as April ay ang Taytay po was assisted by DTI.
Yeah.
At kami po ang gumagawa na ng mga PPE sa mga major public and private hospitals, not only in Metro Manila but in the entire Philippines. No?
So malaki yan na, Mayor. Hindi, kasi akala ko baka yung alam mo na yung mga cottage industry lang.
Hindi po. Although cottage industry ang gumagawa, pero ang distribution ay buong Pilipinas na. No? Pinadala na ko ni Senator Amy when I was in quarantine ng isang standard PPE na galing sa US, yung gamit ng Center for Disease Control. And from that, we were able to get materials, yung tinatawag nilang tafeta, which is used for raincoats. So, yun ang ginamit ng Taytay. So, ngayon, almost 80% siguro ng local PPE sa bansa ay gawa dito sa aming bayan. At patuloy pa rin kami na gumagawa ng mga ibang disenyo. Like now, sabi ko nga na pag nag-ease up yung ating quarantine, siguro magiging standard na sa atin yung nakasuot ng parang tinatawag na windbreaker na may hood, and at the same time yung may mga cuffs. So dyan na kami papunta kung anong magiging design ng isusuot ng mga Pilipino, dahil alam naman natin hanggang wala pa yung bakuna at wala pa yung gamot ay lahat tayo we will be at risk pag tayo ay lumabas. So yun na yung papunta ngayon. Ang aming garment industry ay patuloy na nagdi-design na kung ano pang mga magiging apparel ng Pilipino sa itong mga susunod na taon.
That's forward thinking, Mayor. Kasi maski ako, hindi ko naisip yun. Iniisip lang naman natin lagi, face shield, mask, tama kayo. Bandang huli, puro na tayo forma na natin, parang PPE capital na tayo. In any case, Mayor, maraming salamat sa oras mo and congratulations on the many things you are doing. Sana maging matagumpay ang SAP distribution nyo. And I really, really look forward and hope that the National Housing Authority ay magtatayo ng mga condominiums dyan na matitino para sa mga settler at hindi yung tinatawag na kondemonyo na napakaliit at napakarupok. In any case, thank you very much, Mayor. Please stay safe, stay strong, and stay healthy. And God bless you, Mayor.
Maraming salamat po. God bless us all.
Okay. That's Mayor JORIC GACULA of Taytay, Rizal, and magandang panimulain yun. They are now becoming the PPE production capital and supplier of the Philippines. Now let's go to our next guest. He is a former senator, but more than that, he is the father, the author of the Universal Healthcare Law. And let's find out his reaction sa mga nangyayaring events. Senator J.B. EJERCITO. Sir, magandang umaga sa iyo. Okay, Sen, baka naka-mute yung mic mo. Paki-check lang at yung microphone mo baka naka-mute. Can we try again, Senator? Okay, we can't seem to hear the good Senator. Okay, papa-adjust lang muna natin. I'll ask the technical team to coordinate with Senator. Now, sorry, no, hindi ko po matawag na ex-senator or former senator kasi masyadong nagtrabaho yung si Senator JB. He came up with the Kasambahay Law. He came up with the Universal Healthcare Bill and several others. And we want to find out from him what exactly his sentiments are because of what has happened, yung naging issue with the PhilHealth collection of OFW, UHC relevance in the context of COVID-19. We'll go for a quick break while we're fixing up things with Senator EJERCITO. We'll be right back here on Agenda. Okay, let's give it a try again. We are back. You are watching Agenda on Signal TV channels 8 and 250. Okay, let's try JV Ejercito. Good morning,
Hi,
sir.
Sito. Good morning, Sito. Nice to be back here in your show. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Okay, Sen JV, matanong ko lang, what is your reaction? You authored the Universal Healthcare Law, and at that time everything was normal. It was meant to
Yeah.
address the existing concerns before, pero nagbago
Pasok
bigla
muna ako,
ang
ako na.
mundo. Nag op,
Sir Cito, sorry.
yeah.
We're still on commercial, sir. We're still doing just audio test pa lang po ito, sir.
Okay,
Papasok po tayo
okay.
in a bit. Opo.
Okay,
Just
so
Po,
okay na.
sir, 1 minute po. 1 minute. Papasok po tayo ng
sige.
senator.
Lang, akala ko game na eh.
Okay.
Sorry, JB.
Okay lang.
Okay. Pasensya na po, sir.
So-
Medyo mahirap tong setup natin. Balik po tayo in a bit.
Okay, sige. Pero sounding good. Okay, you're back here on Agenda. You're watching us on Signal TV channels 8 and 250 and the Facebook platform of One News PH, where we are live streamed, and also on YouTube. Now, when the Universal Healthcare Law was written by Senator J.V. Ejercito, it was meant to address the need for medical services to Filipinos. But just when the law could take off, COVID-19 happened, and it changed the entire landscape. It changed the demands on healthcare completely. So with us, joining us again is Senator J.V. Ejercito. Let's find out from J.V. Okay, Senator J.V., good morning.
Hi, Sito. Good morning. Nice to be back in your show again here in Signal. Good morning to everyone, our televiewers.
Okay, I noticed that you are also following the COVID chic, the COVID fashion statement na hindi nag-aahit. Okay, in any case, in all seriousness, Sen JV, when you wrote the Universal Healthcare Law, it was at a time when we were only concerned about coverage for all, medical services for all Filipinos, but COVID-19 changed that. What do you think needs to be done as far as the UHC law is concerned, given how it has changed everything?
Yes, you are correct, Sito. No? The time that we were deliberating, the time that we drafted and passed the Universal Healthcare Law in 2019, things were much better. The economy was doing well. The financials of the government was doing well, and that was the time that we thought that it's the opportune time for us to already push for the Universal Healthcare Law, which is intended to give good quality healthcare for all Filipinos without the financial burden. But as you said, things changed, everything changed. We never thought that whenever predicted that COVID or pandemic would come, but it has really changed the whole world, the landscape. So we really have to make the necessary adjustments, Sito. And I'm quite sad, Sito, that it just about when it was about to take off this year, this thing happened, no? And
Mm.
just probably to give you a background there, Sito,
Yeah.
on why we really push for universal healthcare, no? So that our OFW especially would understand why there was a need for such a law. I was mayor, no, of our dear San Juan, where you grew up for 9 years. I became a congressman also. Alam mo, Sito, if you are a local official, you are in the grassroots. You
Mm.
get to meet and you get to talk to the ordinary um, constituents. No? And, sad to say that according to WHO, that 1.5% of our population is driven into poverty because of medical expenses. And that is
True.
true. Uh, Sometimes if one member of the family gets sick, especially if it's serious or critical, pag na-hospital sila, at first to go are the cell phones, probably. And then after that, tricycle, cars, and then later on, carabaos, houses. They will sell it, and then sometimes nagkakabaon-baon pa sa utang. And these
Mm.
are happening in real life. No, hindi po ito drama, but it happens in reality. And that's the reason, Sito, that's why I pushed for universal healthcare law because, we do not want Filipinos to go into poverty because of medical expenses.
Mm.
But probably, as you mentioned earlier, things were much, much better when it was passed last year. And probably, I think the outrage of our OFWs, I can understand, no? Because I think wrong timing ang PhilHealth, no? Because just when they are faced with uncertainty, they do not know even if they have a job after all of this. They can go out again. They have a contract, and then here comes PhilHealth, um, coming up with a memo, sort of threatening or pressuring our OFWs to pay. And that
Mm.
I do not, even if I'm the principal sponsor of this measure, I am not in favor of that. And we have to adjust, as you
Mhm.
said, because of the pandemic. If we have to adjust to the situation. If we need to amend the law, take into consideration what is happening, then I think it's about time we really have to do.
What should people do now? Because ang natutunan natin because of COVID-19 is, and you and I have always been saying this for the longest time, kulang tayo sa mga malalaking hospital, public
Yes,
hospitals. Kawawa ang mga frontliners, masyadong mura, mababa ang mga sweldo ng mga nurses,
yes.
etc. At hindi pina-prioritize ang health over other types of spending. Ano ang pwedeng gawin? What can the public do? What can the affected sectors do to get the attention of the Senate to prioritize healthcare? Kasi now everyone's talking about the Sitira law, economic stimulus, etc. Pero the reality is COVID-19 is going to be with us for at least 2 years and we
Yes.
don't have enough facilities.
Well, actually, to give you also an idea, Sito, no, probably most of our OFWs are not informed about the
Mhm.
improvements that we have under the Universal Healthcare Law. First of all, the UHC is a work in progress. No, it doesn't mean, Sito, that once we were able to pass the Universal Healthcare Law, it will be like magic that everything will be okay already. No? It's a work in
Mhm.
progress. It's a 5-year plan that we have. Kasama na po doon, first of all, we want to cover all Filipinos. If you're a
Mhm.
Filipino, you are now automatically a member and covered by the National Health Insurance. Second, we also added the improvement of the health facilities. Actually, we are already on the process. No? In the past 3 years, Sito, no,
Uh-huh.
drastic improvements have been done in the Apex Hospital or the main regional and provincial hospitals in our country because the problem really is bed capacity and
Yeah.
improvement of facilities. But that has been ongoing right now under the Universal Healthcare Law as well. Unfortunately, inabot po talaga tayo ng pandemic na yon. And I'm still hoping that, I appeal to my former colleagues, our present senators, congressmen, that, in the midst of this pandemic, we still have to prioritize healthcare. I am hoping that we will strike a balance. I know it's a problem where to get the funds. Our OFWs, our workers are also facing uncertainty. But I think it's about time also that as you said, 2 years that it will be here. So I'm still hoping that they will prioritize. Just to give probably, if you'll allow me, Sito, no,
Yes, go ahead, go ahead.
I want to clarify with our OFWs kasi sabi nila noon because of the outrage, bakit namin pinapasan, they think that they are the ones paying, no? In actual, yung sa actual pie of the premiums, the OFWs only contribute 1%, no, of the total. The rest is from the formal economy of the local workers, which is about 49.7%. The informal economy is about 5.7%. And the rest we get from sin taxes, PCSO, and PAGCOR. So that's where we get the funds for the universal healthcare. And for the contributions, our OFWs from 2015 up to 2018 average about 1 billion in premium contributions. But the claim utilization, Sito, no? Hindi
Oo.
lang po sila, even the members of their family, exceeded more than 2 billion each year. So, siguro, some of them say, why do we have to contribute? We are already insured here in our country or our host country. Totoo po yun. But the rationale is that the members of your family here in the Philippines, in case they get sick, hindi nyo na po problemahin. They will be taken care of by the PhilHealth under the Universal Healthcare Law. So, that's rational.
Yung mga hindi nakikinabang is more the exception than the rule. Because may mga nagsalita no na wala naman kaming pakinabang dyan, we are covered,
Yes.
etc. Ang mga anak namin nandito. But they don't know that there are other OFW families whose members, parents, siblings, and children, or children and parents are benefiting in the Philippines. Pero Senator JB, kinlarify naman yata yan ni spokesperson Harry Roque, who was then the co-author in Congress, that this burden on the OFW was not in the original law. Ang napasok na lang daw yan dun sa IRR.
Actually, Sito, it was already doon sa BICAM, it was inserted, no, doon sa BICAM, no. And actually, ako personally, I was against it, no. I wanted 3 years of moratorium. Kaya lang, we're a collegial body. I was only one of the members of the BICAM, so it was proposed and it was adopted and it was approved, no. Ang rationale is based on actuarial studies. Alam niyo na to, insurance, no? Iba yung actuarial studies, they and also the projected medical inflation, they really need to increase it to 3%, no? From the original 2.4%. Probably, Sito, if you'll allow me na, siguro, no, ito yung mga covered, no? Probably these are the things that the OFWs and our people don't know, that under the Universal Healthcare Law, certain diseases, no, yung mga mabibigat, are now covered, no? Aside from the primary care, aside from the free checkups and laboratory tests, catastrophic diseases like breast cancer, you're now entitled to 100,000. Cervical cancer, 175,000. Kidney transplant, 600,000. Childhood leukemia, 210,000. And bypass or heart surgery, 550,000. Now we go to the COVID-related diseases, which are now also covered, no? For mild pneumonia related to COVID, you are entitled to 43,000. Moderate pneumonia, 143,000. Severe pneumonia, 333,000. And pag kinapitan ka na ng tubo, Sito, no, yung ventilator or respirator or critical pneumonia, you are now entitled to 786,000. So, ang ano natin dito, Sito, no, contributions would range from 3,600 pesos annually up to 21,000 annual, no? This prorated sa inyo pong sa inyong salary. It may seem big, pero kung inyong iisipin, Sito, isang hospitalization lang, ubos yung ano na yan, no? sobra-sobra pa yung makukuha nyo sa PhilHealth. And I'm hoping that our OFW should understand and treat this as an investment. In the future, for example, they retire, they will now be covered their whole life through. And Sito, napakamahal talaga ang medical expenses. For example, yung ipon po nila, one critical illness, no, that could be wiped out. No? And that's what we
correct.
want. Yeah, that's what we would want to avoid. That's why me, Sito, I will still stand by the universal healthcare. But we need to make the adjustments because the pandemic. Kasi, we are faced with uncertainty. And I agree with the president. I support his decision to not collect first, no, to defer and to make it probably voluntary. Especially nabanggit mo kanina, Sito, yung mga dual citizens whose families are already abroad. Probably they cannot. Siguro they can be accepted already from making contributions. So we have to we really have to adjust.
Because you said it is not a fixed law, it is a ano tawag mo doon, it's a growing law.
Progress.
A work in progress. Okay, one last question na lang at hindi ako nangiintriga pero quick answer na lang because I've run out of time. But would you accept a position in government at this time in relation to the universal health care or etc. etc.?
Well, Sito, we're in the pandemic right now. The first order day, we really have to find ways on how we will survive on all of this. No, for me to be given a position is secondary. As long as I'll be able to help, as long as my ability or knowledge, no, will be able to contribute, why not? No, so I will. But as a former public official, of course, I'm still concerned, and I'm hoping that things will be better.
Kasi patapos na yung 1-year ban, hindi po ba?
Yes.
Okay, so
Ako pero for me, Sito, that is secondary. No, we have to survive all of this first. No,
yes.
together. And siguro ko lang yun, it's no law is perfect. No, wala namang batas na perfect. We are all humans who created that law. That's why we have to amend, and if necessary, if we have to adjust, we can do so. And ako, even if I'm the principal sponsor, I am appealing to the present senators, congressmen, to strike a balance now that we have a pandemic to consider, take into consideration all of the factors, no, into still promoting universal healthcare, no. But we have to adjust given the situation.
Thank you, Senator JV EJERCITO. Please stay safe, stay strong, and pakintabin mo na lang muna yung motorsiklo mo. Have a good day. God bless you.
Thank you, Sito.
Okay, that's Senator JV EJERCITO, and it's interesting clarifications because apparently what happened there was the insertion for the 3% premium on the salaries of OFW was placed during the bicameral conference kung kailan nagkita yung Senado at Kongreso at pinagtugma yung kanilang universal healthcare version. So in any case, we will keep following the story, and we will also follow the path of JV EJERCITO, because I remember 1 year ago the president did say that at some point when the ban on hiring candidates from the elections will be lifted, that he would, if I remember correctly, he said he would consider calling JV EJERCITO for a position. In any case, let's go on with our interviews. Next up, we have Miss Eden Pineda. She is the president of the League of Barangays. Miss Eden, magandang umaga sa inyo. Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning po. Thank you for having me dito sa programa mo sa agenda.
Okay. Go ahead.
Dito naman sa amin, it's okay naman so far dito sa Tacloban City.
Okay. Well, namimiss ko na yung mga kainan ninyo dyan at ako nagpunta dyan several times beginning just before Yolanda, during, right after Yolanda, etc. In any case, matanong ko lang, nagsabi ang Undersecretary of the Department of Interior and Local Government that given the fact that many barangay captains and barangay officials are now making major decisions affecting their constituents and interpreting and applying yung mga national government policies, they believe, or he believes, that the qualifications for elected barangay officials or maybe appointed barangay officials should be raised. Madaling sabi, dapat mas taasan ang kalidad, quality, and qualification. What is your reaction, Ms. Pineda?
Well, so under the law, we are also elected officials, no? Under the law, there are only few requirements, like we are a Filipino citizen, we are a member of that barangay, can able to read and write. So with regards to taasan ang qualifications, so those are only the qualifications under the law to run for an elected officials, including the barangays. So that would be on our part discriminatory, and that would be contradictory to equal protection clause. But however, madami naman po members ng liga ng mga barangay, mga punong barangays at kagawads who are professionals. And yet, hindi pa rin po sumusunod, matigas yung ulo, yung iba. And like any organizations, we are not perfect because the composition of the Liga ng mga Barangay sa Pilipinas is 45,045 and 1.5 million workers in the barangays. So with that, mas madami naman po ang nagtatrabaho kaysa matigas yung ulo. So we could not really say na itaas yung yung qualifications, but I'm not against it because there is no substitute for education. However, I do believe that attitude, skills in leadership is most necessary. Because no matter how, di ba, nag-graduate yung iba dyan as engineers, we have lawyers, we have educators also in the barangays. And yet, ganun pa rin yung problema.
Well, are the barangay officials and maski na yung mga kagawad, are you given supplemental training? Kayo ba, are you invited to seminars, or does the various different government departments go to your localities to give special trainings for barangay officials?
Yes po. After the election, after a few weeks, pinapatawag po lahat yung elected officials, and then we have these seminars, trainings, and in order to let the barangay officials know the scope of limitations and responsibilities of each and every one of us. However, I would like to also take this opportunity that is also one of the project of the Liga ng mga Barangay sa Pilipinas, wherein we are coming up with the Barangay Development Academy, wherein it will also help enhance training and education on strategic barangay governance and leadership, barangay administration, barangay project management, and barangay development and strategic management. So, all in all, naabutan lang po tayo ng COVID-19. So, for a while, na-stop po yung pag-implement po natin dito.
Okay, well, that's good news, Ma'am Eden, kasi medyo napapansin yung mga barangay tanods in particular, napapalaban during the quarantine. In any case, thank you for clarifying that point, because a lot of people were wondering, tama nga po kayo, there are professionals among barangay captains na professional nga, unprofessional naman, and merong mga simpleng taong barangay captains but they serve with all their heart and soul. Thank you for this short interview, Ma'am Eden, and don't worry, babalik-balikan ko po kayo kasi mukhang pabigat na ng pabigat ang mga responsibilities na pinapasa sa mga barangay captains and barangay officials. Thank you, Ma'am Eden.
Thank you.
Okay, that's Miss Eden Pineda. She is the president of the League of Barangays in the Philippines. And that's a very short and quick answer. There are professionals who act unprofessional, and there are simple people who serve quite well. Now, let's go to our next and final interview. This is a continuation of our interview with her yesterday, plus with Congressman Benny Abante. We have on the line Representative Stella Kimbo of the 2nd District of Marikina. Good morning to you again, Congresswoman Kimbo.
Good morning, Sito.
Okay, just wanted to follow up on our talk yesterday because yesterday was the first time I heard of a economic stimulus package that was being submitted. Could you please share with our audience what are the key points of the economic stimulus package and how it would directly benefit the micro, small, and medium enterprises?
Also, economic stimulus, Sito, is simply increased government spending. And this is needed to reverse whatever damages there have been to our economy right now as a result of the pandemic. So we estimate that for every day of lockdown, we lose about 18 billion pesos. And of course, there are damages even with or without the lockdown. Because as you know, sectors like tourism and trade have been hit by the pandemic even before the lockdown. So we expect that economic losses would reach at least 1.1 trillion pesos. So Kong Joey and I each filed bills to try to reverse those losses. And so that's what the bill is all about. So we propose, so right now, the Economic Affairs Committee, headed by Kong Sharon Garin, we have already consolidated the two bills which have been submitted. So right now, it calls for about 480 billion pesos in government spending, which would include wage subsidies, meaning companies who have been, who had disrupted operations during the lockdown, meaning Sito, they had to keep paying payroll and all of their overhead expenses despite not having sales this lockdown. So wage subsidies would be about 25 to 75% of their payroll costs for the period of the lockdown, and of course with a labor retention clause, right? In other words, we will support the payroll of companies so long as they promise to keep their workers. So, of course, we know that unemployment is going to be a big problem as a result of this pandemic, meaning people are already losing jobs as we speak, Sito. So we need to be able to assist businesses, especially the small ones, so that they are able to keep their workers. And one way to do that is to boost their liquidity, because as we know, nawalan sila ng puhunan, no, because of the pandemic. So as soon as the lockdown is lifted, and ideally, if we already have an economic stimulus package, then government should be able to boost liquidity of firms. So kasama din dyan, Sito, interest-free loans. Because, of course, wage subsidies, we can only pay for, let's say, 45 days max. Siyempre, kailangan natin pag-isipan pa the medium run, right? So we are proposing interest-free loans. And of course, loan guarantees, because if you're a small business, especially the informal ones, it's very difficult to take out a loan. So kahit na zero interest yan, hindi mo yan basta-basta mapapapunta sa mga banko. So we also propose loan guarantees, no? And then also, finally, a big chunk is intended for grants, no, meaning technical assistance, again, for small businesses. Because as we know, Sito, the big problem is coping with the new normal, so to speak. No, if you're looking at small businesses, particularly in the services sector, of course, the health standards are going to be higher today, right? So, for example, simple example, Sito, you're a barber. After COVID, now you have to use gloves. Iba na ang panggugupit mo once you wear gloves, right? So, very simple example.
Naka-PPE ka na.
Naka-PPE ka na, naka-gloves ka, di ba? That's really going to cramp your style as a barber. So, very simple example. You can think of numerous examples. We certainly need to build the capacity. We need to retrain. We need to retool. So that's the purpose of grants. And of course, again, in our bills, we will target the critically impacted sectors, right? So ang number one dyan, trade, tourism, and the non-essential businesses that operated during the lockdown, that did not operate during the lockdown, but continued to pay costs.
Okay, if you listen to Secretary Sani Dominguez during yesterday's press conference, his direction was we need to get people to buy products so that there will be liquidity. He said we need to hire en masse contact tracers, and we need to pass the Sitira law. Now, you and Congressman Joey Salceda and Benny Abante and Congresswoman Garin, you are trying to secure jobs by saying we will give a support to companies, but we will make a requirement that nobody gets laid off. Now, your stimulus package, what is the direction? Is it going to be top to bottom or bottom up? Kasi you're saying government spending. But kung government spending, and that's aligned with what Sani Dominguez was saying, that we should build. Pero maraming nagsasabi sa labas, dapat yata unahin ninyo na matigil muna yung mga payments, mga down payments, mga mortgages, etc. Magkaroon muna ng moratorium para hindi sila ninenervyos. I think there are thousands, if not millions, who are having sleepless nights because example, your example is a barber. My example is someone who bought a car and listed up with Grab. And ngayon napapanik sila, or someone who bought trucks and now can't operate. And they're all saying, pwede ba moratorium muna sa mga utang and then later on i-open up na yung business, makakabayad na kami.
Yes, Sito, that's actually part of the bill. So we have a section there. We have a provision for loan term extensions. No? And so we've already talked to the banks. We've talked to the Bankers Association of the Philippines, and they themselves suggested a particular provision which precisely does that. Right, so there's an extension of I'm not sure. I can't remember if the current version is 6 months or 1 year, but certainly we're working towards that. I think right now what's on the bill would be suspension of principal payments for loans. That's one. Number two, the reason for why we want to also have generous loans is so that you can actually take out a loan to pay an existing loan. Right, so that's also one strategy that we're thinking of. But then ultimately, there's a lot of liquidity now in the banking system, Sito. The BSP, I think as early as March, has already issued a regulatory relief package, and that, I think, the effect, according to the BSP, has increased liquidity in the banking system for I think 800 billion. No, so that's a huge amount of increase in liquidity. So banks are in a good position to restructure loans. So there's a provision there that precisely encourages banks to on a loan by loan basis to do restructuring. So it's a win-win solution for both the borrower and the lender. So
because the worst thing that can happen to banks is they have all the money and can't do
No
anything
one-
with it.
Yes,
And the
exactly.
money loses its value.
Exactly. So that's the reason also for why we have a fiscal stimulus package. So on one hand, we already have really good monetary policy in place that increase liquidity in our banking system. On our end, we need to make government spend. So there's increased confidence in our economy. So as you said, as you correctly pointed out, aanhin natin ang liquidity when the animal spirits are not there. So we really need to pass fiscal policy that will complement our monetary policy. So
Well-
that's where we are.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I just wanted to ask Kong, pasensya ka na, nito, more of a journalistic thing. Why do you think Sunny Dominguez prioritized mentioning si Tira during the press con yesterday? Kasi parang sabi ko, I'm not, naka-echo 11 lang ako sa UP eh. So hindi ko mag-gets eh. Sabi ko, bakit inuuna ni Secretary Dominguez na dapat ma-pass by June 3 yung si Tira? How big of a deal is si Tira under the present circumstance?
Well, unang-una sa lahat dito, sapat na yung Econ 11 mo sa UP, ha? Anyway, actually, well, this is just my personal belief. I think that we really need to prioritize business continuity first. No? So kailangan natin i-secure muna that businesses survive. Because if businesses don't survive, there's no one to tax. Diba? So sana unahin. And anyway, I think we're on the same page naman. We've been having conversations with them. And they agree naman that we really need an economic stimulus bill. However, they're also proposing that, in addition to that we also create tax incentives, which is fine. I think it's only a question of sequencing, diba? So unahin natin ang survival of business continuity, because if you have business continuity, then we're able to create jobs, right? And then when that is in place, then we get off taxes, right? And ang sitira naman, one part of that really is reduction in taxes. So I think that's where they're coming from. That when you reduce taxes, you have more investments coming in. Pero ang sa akin, again, this is my personal belief, unahin muna natin ang current investments. Let's make current investments, meaning current businesses viable. When that is in place, then let's talk about attracting more investors, particularly from abroad, by way of reducing taxes.
I agree with you 100%, Professor Kimbo, because aanhin ng damo kung patay na ang kabayo, buhayin natin ang mga lokal na negosyo. Let's make sure there is a continuity of business in the Philippines first, and then let's push for Sitira. Thank you very much for this, again, short interview. Kulang pa rin pala. Kailangan pala sa'yo half an hour. Thank you very
Anytime
much.
we can invite.
Okay, thank you very much,
Thank you very much. Good
Congresswoman.
morning.
Good morning. Please stay strong, stay safe, and stay healthy. That's Congresswoman Stella Kimbo, 2nd District of Marikina. And just to sum it all up, we need to ensure the business sustainability, continuity of local businesses, and then we can attract foreign businesses. Okay, we've run out of time. I'm over time, so sorry to management. That's agenda for you today. Please continue watching us through the week. God bless all of you, and thank you, Lord, for a good day again.